Coming up on this hour of American Graduate Day, from the International Space Station, astronaut Mark Vande Hei, the first Native American astronaut, John Harrington, two-time Cy Young Award winner, Max Scherzer, and Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, Darryl McDaniels.
The launch command issued and liftoff. Mark Vande Hei, Alexander Mazurkin, and Joe Acaba lifting off and now on their way to the International Space Station.
I'm NASA astronaut Mark Vande Hei on the International Space Station orbiting 250 miles above our planet. And it's great to be a part of American Graduate Day. I've been fortunate to have had great mentors in my life during both my Army and academic careers. In fact, while at Stanford University studying for a master's in applied physics, one of the people who helped me along the way was Dr. Hakeem Oluseyi. Hello, Hakeem.
Houston Station on Space to Ground 3.
NASA is a wondrous blend of science, engineering, technology, with mentors at every step of the way. So become a mentor, just like Hakeem was for me. Oh, I missed it. Whoa, help me.
Hi, this is Hakeem Oluseyi, and among other things, I'm a rocket scientist, and I still get chills watching launches or spacewalks. In this half hour, we're going to talk about STEM-related topics and organizations like NASA that depend on the disciplines of science, technology, engineering, and math. Coincidentally, 70 years ago today, the space age began when test pilot Chuck Yeager broke the sound barrier for the first time. He truly had what Thomas Wolfe called the right stuff. However, he might never have made it without guidance from the right people. Now, we call them mentors. When Yeager joined the Army, he was a private with no special skills. And when he retired, he was a brigadier general and perhaps our finest pilot. Our next guest was also a decorated military test pilot, who then became NASA's first Native American astronaut. However, like Yeager, he didn't start out as one of the best and the brightest. Please welcome Dr. John Harrington, former NASA astronaut and member of the Chickasaw Nation.
Hi, Hakeem. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I didn't write that. I think you were wonderful from the beginning. All right.
That's wonderful.
So, John, like Chuck Yeager, your journey started into history was not typical. You're Native American, you changed schools often, dropped out of college, and then took a job climbing rocks for a surveying company.
Yep.
How did the owner of that company change your life?
It took maybe 15 minutes of his time. I sat down, I was doing some work for a large sheet we're going to pull across the Colorado River. And he sat me down and said, what are you going to do when you grow up? I was 19, I thought I was grown up.
Right.
And he said, what do you do when you're 25? When you're 30, you can't raise a family on $4 an hour. So you need to go back to school and become the engineer and be the one responsible for all of this. Yeah.
Wow, so a mentor changed your life in 15 minutes.
A short period of time.
Yeah, so your journey continued at the University of Colorado, where your path changed once again. And how did Captain Richard Knockel influence your career?
Captain Knockel. I worked for the math department, and the professor I worked for, Jim O'Dear, Dr. Jim O'Dear, said, hey, I have the student that needs a calculus tutor. And I thought, 20-year-old kid, right?
Yeah,
he said, no, this is a guy's retired Navy captain. He flew Dauntless dive bombers in World War II, and he needs a calculus tutor. And he was getting a computer science degree, and he'd retired from the Navy, and so he tutored me about Navy, and we talked about calculus. And so he was the one that convinced me if I want to join the Navy, I've got to go officer candidate school in that direction. It was just intriguing for me, so yeah.
Yeah, so he convinced you to go to the Navy. Yep. All right. So after a decade as a decorated Navy pilot, NASA selected you for a shuttle mission, and you ended up walking in space.
Yeah.
So when you talk to students about reaching this particular scientific high point, what do you tell them?
It's that you can have a dream as a kid. When I was 8 years old, I used to dream about being an astronaut. I used to sit in a cardboard box and dream I was going to the moon, but I never thought it was something I could do until much later when I was a test pilot in the Navy. I'm in a school where the names of the graduates are on these plaques, and I started seeing names of the people I watched on TV in the 60s. Jim Lovell, Apollo 13, wow. Alan Shepard, the first American in space, Gene Cernan, the last American on the moon, last man on the moon.
Wow.
These guys had all been Navy test pilots, and I was in the exact same school doing the exact same thing.
So that was clear path then. So you're also a member of the Chickasaw Nation.
Yes, sir.
Turns out my family heritage includes the Choctaw Nation.
So come on.
That's right. So what did it mean to you to be the first Native American to fly into space?
It's an honor. You know, it's an opportunity for me to be in a position where kids can look and say, hey, I didn't realize that's something I could do.
Right.
And so this idea of I can work with students and say, hey, you know, if you have a dream as a kid, be it astronaut or engineer or doctor, you can do it. And if they see somebody they can identify with and appreciate that in a mentor role, then it can fundamentally change their life.
Yeah, as they say, if you can see it, then you can be it, right? So they see you, and now they know they can do it as well.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So you spent your career climbing higher. You're now retired from NASA. You've achieved a doctorate of education, and now you're deeply involved with ACES, the American Indian Science and Engineering Society.
Yes, sir.
So now you have a new mission. Tell us about that.
Well, in the second half of my life, matter of fact, after I retired from NASA in 2008, I hopped on a bicycle and I pedaled across the country, rode from Cape Flattery, Washington to Cape Canaveral, Florida. And along the way, I stopped and talked to students. And I talked to NASA Explorer Schools, and on the reservations, I talked to Native kids and talked about my journey to the Corps and how I achieved something that I didn't really think I could do. And so it was that idea that, you know, if I can do it, you can do it type of thing. And in the process, I met somebody in Idaho that said, come back, you can get a PhD. I went back and I earned a PhD in education. I worked with Native kids and looked at the factors that motivate and engage them to study math and science. I mean, what is that factor that motivates somebody to want to do this?
Right, right. So why do you think it's so important to expose kids to this?
It's the idea that if they can believe they can do it, you know, then they go. But it's the idea of hands-on learning. It's the idea of work with your hands and tying the theoretical to the practical. And that's how I learned. Climbing rocks, you know, hanging off of a cliff. I saw math in practice for the first time.
Exactly. A lot of people say, what am I going to ever use this for? Well,
the
answer is
you
a
will
lot.
use it, yeah.
yeah. So when you're with Native American students who are considering STEM careers, what are the words of encouragement you offer?
Well, I'll say Chukmaa would be hello, you know, in Chickasaw, and Chikasha Abanoa would be my Chickasaw name.
Wow.
Yeah, above Walker, Chickasaw above Walker.
Nice.
Yeah, because there's no word for astronaut. And so, yeah.
Nice.
But the idea is that they talked to me. I had a young lady stop me in an elevator one day and said, you're John Harrington. And I met you when I was 12 years old.
Wow.
And I didn't realize I could be an engineer. And now she's a civil engineer at the city of San Francisco.
That is amazing.
And it's like, that just it touches your heart. It really does.
It really does.
Yeah.
Well, John, it's been an honor and a pleasure to work with you. We have a lot in common. It's unbelievable. You know, we've done it's you know, to hear someone else's the same story, and it's you are making a huge impact. And I've really been honored. It's been a pleasure, and I can't wait to talk to you once we're off camera and continue this some more. And I can't wait to see what you do next. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it very much. Thank you for having me here.
Wonderful.
That's great.
Good stuff.
Cool.
An interest in science and technology is best instilled in kids when they're young. Our next organization works with students to create technology solutions for a variety of problems that benefit good causes. Meet Mouse.
Growing up, I knew that creative people do art, and I had to experience for myself that they're also here to solve challenging issues in the world. They're needed to help guide young people through the pathways that lead them to their dreams. My name is Mark Lesser. I'm the Senior Director for Learning Design at Mouse. Mouse supports young people to think about technology as a tool with purpose, a thing that empowers them to change the world around them. My role at Mouse is making sure that we can serve up ways of engaging them to realize their potential.
My name is Dr. Sabrina Oliver, the Director of STEM Education for Hempstead School District K-12. We're creating opportunities for our students to prepare them for jobs that we can't even foresee.
My name is Kayla Mack. I'm a Mouse alumni. I feel that not only learning about technology, but finding a way to help serve other people with technology helps you learn more about yourself.
I envision in 10 years for our students possibilities that they couldn't dream or imagine for themselves.
My name is Mikkel. I'm currently attending Parsons at the New School, and I'm a Mouse Design League alum. My mentors from Mouse were the people that, first of all, even put the idea in my head that, hey, the best art and design school in America, you can go there if you really wanted to in life. Before them, there was no way I could have thought that to be possible. Looking back, if I had enjoyed Mouse, I don't know what I would be doing. I definitely don't think I would have the skills that I do now, or the connections.
I think there's a point in teaching literacy of any kind when that magic happens. The instinct for humans is to go change their environment with it. And that's why Mouse is here, and that's why we've been here for 20 years.
It's important to use your talent to inspire others. Mouse has helped me most to gain my voice so that I can help and inspire other people like the people in Mouse have inspired me.
I love to work with the students of Boston Public Schools. The Vertex Learning Lab is a dedicated classroom and lab space. We really want students to see how science is done in the real world.
It's an amazing opportunity to work with Melody.
Students have a chance to actually do cell culture, which most high schools are.
Even more wonderful is the opportunity for our students to see a woman of color in this position.
Just to be able to say to them, look at me, I'm doing it, you can do this too, I think is just so important.
Definitely a great mentor.
We're seeing more and more students who go on to higher education and choose to stay in this field.
Now I'm thinking about science to make a career for myself.
I think it's about developing well-rounded students who can take on any challenge.
Building a love of science and math in students is essential for America to keep up with the ever-growing demands in these fields. One area facing major labor shortages is construction. 64% of builders have delayed projects due to lack of available skilled workers. Our next group addresses this issue head-on. It's the ACE Mentor Program of America. The ACE stands for Architecture, Construction, and Engineering. Each year, they introduce 9,000 high school students to all facets of the construction industry by providing them with mentors and on-the-job training. Joining us today from San Antonio are ACE mentee Sarah E. Martinez and mentors Mary Stewart and Mike Kamen. Welcome to you all.
Hi. Thank you.
Wonderful. So we're going to start with you, Sarah E. So how did you end up with ACE Mentor?
So in ACE, I joined the program as a sophomore. My teacher, Mr. Garcia, actually encouraged everybody to join the program just so they can get a better field of all the fields. So he just encouraged me, and once I joined, I saw that I really liked it and enjoyed myself in it. So I stayed for 3 years after that.
Nice. Yes. We're going to get back to you, but we're going to turn to Mary. Yes, you're a civil engineer.
Yes.
And as a female mentor in the construction industry, why did you take a special interest in Sarah E.?
Well, as the program has grown, we're starting to see more and more females in the industry. But when I first started, there were only 2 to 3 females within a 25 student group. So we pretty much made a great connection within the first couple sessions.
Oh, nice, nice. And so how do you feel you've benefited by having Mary as your mentor?
Well, just seeing Mary, like she said, it was a big group, and seeing women in the program just encouraged me, to be that, knowing that I can do what she does, and it just allowed me to believe in myself and encourage me to, further my education and get into construction, get into a field that, it's male-dominated, but seeing her just let me believe that I could do it as well.
Yeah, I'm sure you can as well, and there's a lot of opportunity, so why just leave it to the dudes, right? So Mike, you're a vice president at Turner Construction. Why do you devote your time to this organization?
Well, to have one of 9,000 mentees like Sarah E. is very special. We've taken a special one-on-one connection.
Yes.
And that's what I saw in her to begin with. And when you see how much she grew year after year after year, I keep telling her she's going to be the CEO of the company one day. Wow. But it's very special to see her grow every year.
But what did you first see in her that allowed you to, invite her to your company and take such a close interest?
So we had several employees mentoring as well at Jefferson High School, and they came to me day one and said, there's one special lady that we need to follow, and we followed her as a sophomore, junior, senior, after high school, and very proud that within the next year she'll be graduating from University of Texas San Antonio with a construction science degree as well.
That is awesome. So what are your plans after?
So since the company has taken me under the wing, I've been able to go to school while working full time. Oh, nice. So I want to continue working, and the company is able to give me. They're really open to going and with your career. So I'm planning on staying with the company and just going and moving forward. To going out to the field and seeing construction. All the projects going.
So do you get to do hands-on things? As a civil engineer probably, right? You do a lot of modeling, or is it, with computer design and things, or is it more hands-on? Because you work directly with Mary, right?
I work for construction with Turner Construction, but she does civil engineering. Construction, right now I'm actually in the office, but so general contracting, you manage the project. So you're the middle person between the architect and the subcontractors, so we handle the project.
I see. And do you go to the project sites, put on the hard hat, and
manage everything from there? Yeah.
That is wonderful. So you're also very young. So not only being a woman, but also being very young. Do you find that to be a challenge at all, or do people just accept you in your professional role?
I do get a lot. You are young and things like that. But as with the company, I've just been able to oversee a lot of the construction and have learned so much throughout the years. So now that I've been 5 years in with the company, I feel like I have a really good grasp onto the field. But no, I don't get a lot of challenges. But I do learn as I grow.
Yeah. So Mary, and you, like being a mentor, like what's in it for you?
I think it's a matter of making a difference. Just seeing the students year in, year out, going beyond their high school education. In San Antonio, we have a lot of first generation coming out of high school and continuing to college, and if we can just encourage them to continue their education and follow their path, especially in the AEC industry, it just makes my day.
Wonderful. Yeah, I understand. So Mike, we heard that after the university, Sarah E is going to continue with you. How do you feel about that?
I'm most excited that she's already started the full circle of mentoring back at Jefferson High School. So wonderful. To watch her go as a high school student, all the way as an intern, go through college, and then already be back at that high school mentoring, I think that is the goal, to have that full circle accomplishment.
I hear there's a story about a Christmas party. Tell me about that.
Well, I invited Sarai and her mother to our Christmas party because her mother was talking about that maybe not going to college would be something that she would want for her daughter to do. And Sarai brought her mother to the Christmas party, and we were able to have a dialogue. Sarai interpreted for me. And at that time I said, she is the most talented young lady that I've been around in a long time. I want to make sure she goes to college, and she will be able to support you and the family by getting a degree and having a full-time job, much more so than having her not go to college. Wow. And that was the very first time her mother said, okay, it's okay to begin an internship and to start. So.
Wow, so Sarah E, it sounds like they had a big impact on your life, and I'm so happy to have met you all and to share your story. Hopefully, I'll get to talk to you more later off camera. Everybody is excited about you, so you sound like a wonderful young lady.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for sharing this story with us.
Thank you for having us.
If you work in the construction field, why not involve your company in ACE Mentor? For more information on ACE or any of the other groups we're featuring today, visit us at americangraduate.org. Now, let's join sister station WTVI in Charlotte to celebrate another story of champions.
First, let's talk about picking up the ball and placing it into the receptacle.
Bryant Soul volunteers with a mentoring organization called 100 Black Men of Greater Charlotte.
One of the things that really got me into the 100 is the ability to motivate and inspire children. One of the things that we notice is in the 9th grade, you have a lot of kids dropping out of school. So anything that you can give them to encourage them to stay in school and give them a goal to shoot for is great.
You set it there on top.
I just kind of saw a need, and I knew that I had some skills that I believed that could benefit them.
It's brought me a long way.
Jaleel Brown joined the program in the 4th grade.
Being able to network, learn different things, get deeper into the STEM field.
Today, he's in college, majoring in computer science.
They've taught me a lot.
Many of our students and their parents have stated that since they participated in our STEAM programs, that they're more engaged in their science and mathematics courses in school. They can make the relationship between what they're studying in the class and what's actually happening in the real world. I think that once you give your time and you can see the fruits of your time that you're giving, I think it really is really inspiring to yourself and others.
Many companies today are in need of skilled tech workers, and that's the specialty of our next group, Perscolis. They partner with companies like Barclays and Cognizant to train opportunity youth for careers in IT by providing both mentors and training. Lauren Wanko is with a young man who joined Perscolis, and they helped change the course of his career. Lauren?
Yes, I am with Troy Pinkney of the Perscolis program. Troy, before we talk about the program, tell me a little bit more about your history before joining.
Well, I had an associate's degree in Alfred State College, and I did the business route, but I wasn't seeing like the progress of me getting a business degree. So I came back home, did a couple of jobs with Walmart, JFK, Macy's, and my brother, we was both unemployed at the same time. He actually lost his job before mine. And he inspired me to, grab onto Perscolis. I watched how I gave him an opportunity, watched how I opened doors for him. And he actually had no prior IT experience at all, so that was an amazing feeling. And watching him do that inspired me to do the same exact thing.
Did you know that you wanted to go into IT before Perscolis?
It's kind of funny because my school I went to was an IT school, but I went the business route, so now me here in IT is kind of ironic, but it's an amazing feeling.
We understand that you were working as a baggage handler while you were going to Perscolis. How did you manage that?
It was real stressful, but it taught me discipline here in the work world. Perscolis has something called the no late tolerance policy, and I saw myself running from the train with a 20-pound book bag, and I was sweating and everything just to make it on time. But that taught me, discipline on my punctuality and everything. So that was also a good experience as well.
And it kept you in shape too.
It kept me in shape.
What did you like best about the program?
My teacher for sure, he gave me the tools and the tech skills to be someone who can explain complex situations to an end user, someone who's able to break down ideas and troubleshoot computers. So that was an amazing feeling going from someone who didn't have any prior IT experience, but now someone who's able to explain this.
You have some exciting news to share with us today. You had a very busy week last week. Tell us about that.
Well, I just started my new job at Ricoh USA, and I'm an associate field technician. And then my job is to go around and fix printers and copiers and these, with many clients. So that's a good feeling. My first work week, it was kind of tiring, but I'm happy. I'm happy.
And you doubled your salary, we hear.
Yes, ma'am, I doubled my salary.
Well, we want to celebrate with you today. So because of that, we want to present you with a gift. Wow. Slide that over. This is for you. You might be traveling a lot for your job, and in the event that you do, we wanted to present you with your own piece of luggage. You have to handle this one with extra care now because it's your very own piece.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and thank you for sharing such a successful, inspirational story. I know lots of folks at home have enjoyed hearing it, so thanks so much. Thank you. And now it's an opportunity in just a little bit to hear more from the band, As You Were.
Like a river, like a river, like a river, like a river, like a river. Shut your mouth and run me like a river. How do we fall in love? Faster than a bullet could hit you. How do we fall apart?
Hello again, everyone. Industries dependent on STEM-focused talent have a critical need for a diversified pool of workers to draw upon in order for their innovative ideas to really take off. Our next story is about a group of Native American undergraduates who have been inspired to compete in a NASA-supported, high-powered rocketry program.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch.
It's another cool April morning in Kansasville, Wisconsin. And these collegiate rocketry teams are whirling through last-minute preparations, fueled by months of collaboration, research, design, and a collective growing pride.
I'm so nervous.
This competition began in 2010 as an annual gathering of undergraduates from different tribal colleges. They go head-to-head with the design and fabrication of their own high-powered rockets as part of the STEM program called First Nations Launch. This unique program engages an often untapped community for scientific studies: tribal colleges and Native American students. The Wisconsin Space Grant Consortium and NASA support the program because they see the great potential.
The reason why First Nations Launch Program is so important to NASA is because the Native American community is the most underrepresented community in the science and engineering fields. We want to change that.
Guided by an array of expert mentors, the student teams move the project from inspired designs to launch pad building the rockets, literally from the ground up.
And so in the process, they're learning physics, they're learning calculus, they're learning how to use specific software, they're learning payload design, they're understanding how each component affects the other component.
Born at the College of Menominee Nation, participation quickly spread across tribal colleges and universities. These teams include members of the American Indian Science and Engineering Society, or ACES. Their collaborative, hands-on exposure to high-tech skills opens minds to new career opportunities.
They're here to do much, much more than just win. They're here to interact, they're here to work as a team, they're here to work as a community. That's how we operate to fly space missions. And the Native Americans get that.
We've had students end up at Boeing, at NASA Ames, at NASA Goddard, and they hit the ground running and really achieve great things for these organizations, in part based on the kinds of skills and work.
This year's winners came from the Northwest Indian College, and they received a behind-the-scenes tour of the NASA Kennedy Space Center.
It has been so key in having students think beyond whatever they thought was possible. And that kind of stuff wouldn't happen without First Nations Launch.
I think the possibilities are endless for what I can do after graduation, and it's a little daunting, but it's exciting at the same time.
Hey, you guys are set to go. Okay.
As one team's achievements make way for the next wave of STEM innovators,
Where to go? Where to go?
the mentoring benefits of the First Nations Launch will reverberate across these students' careers to help lift their tribal communities.
For many of them, it's the first time that they begin to see themselves as maybe it's the next NASA engineer. Maybe it's the next engineer that comes back to the reservation, inspiring the next generation to continue to go on to school and do something great. And so this not only affects individuals, this affects families and this affects communities. And that's one of the greatest parts of this program.
And a ball hit deep to left. Taylor going back, and Max Scherzer has a no-hitter.
Hi, this is Max Scherzer with the Washington Nationals. I'm happy to pitch in and help out on American Graduate Day.
Third of the day.
I grew up in Missouri, and I thought my education that I got at the Parkway School District was outstanding. I really felt like that helped make me a well-rounded person. All the teachers there in every subject I can't say enough about. Math was my favorite subject, so all my math teachers, I gotta give you a special shout out for that. So.
Swing and a miss! 20 strikeouts for Max Scherzer.
As I've continued to get older, I keep appreciating how important education is, and what the Nationals do with the Youth Baseball Academy, that speaks volumes to exactly what I believe in, and that's combining sports with education. If you can put the same effort into sports and practice and play from the championship game, you can do the same thing in the classroom. You can put the effort into homework, practicing, and trying to make yourself smarter so that when tests come, you go out there and perform. And for the Nationals to have that type of approach in an academy, I'm all about that. The best is when you go there and you see all the kids and the big smiles on their face, because you can see them actually want to really learn about baseball, but they're just excited to learn stuff in the classrooms too, when you get to teach them different lessons.
And Max Scherzer has thrown his second no-hitter of the season, striking out 17. Max Scherzer puts his name in the record books.
Become an American graduate champion. Be a mentor.
What else can you give us, Max Scherzer?
American Graduate Day is a live, nationwide outreach event.
Hi, everybody. I'm JuJu Chang, one of the co-anchors of ABC News Nightline here in New York City. It's such a thrill every year to be a part of American Graduate Day. It's such a great opportunity to talk about how we can all have an impact on a high school student's life. I know my parents, who immigrated to this country from Korea when I was just 4, instilled in me the burning desire to study hard above all else. It was so clear to them that doing well in school was the best way to make their version of the American dream come true. And of course, I'm now instilling that same love of learning in my own 3 sons. Of course, way, way, way back when I was an insecure kid in high school, growing up in Northern California, I would never have imagined that someday I'd be a network news anchor. But I had a few boosts in my confidence as a kid that put me on this path, thanks to some key adults in my life. First and foremost, my parents, but secondly, my swim coach, who taught me a simple but profound lesson. He showed me time and time again that hard work can pay off with success. And I had a third group of mentors in a program called Junior Achievement. I worked with 3 business professionals from a huge company called Xerox. I remember they were the first adults in business suits that I'd ever really had a conversation with. They took the time each week to come teach us how to be entrepreneurs, how to be strategic about a business plan, how to get a supply chain, marketing, sales, and eventually profit. Our little teeny tiny student company, I'll never forget it, it was called Zoxox, not to be confused with Xerox, sold little plexiglass desktop organizers that we cut and we glued, and then we went and sold them door to door. We learned a lot about selling, not just a product, but our vision, and we won competitions, and I just remember feeling so proud. Now, all 3 sets of mentors helped shape who I am today, so for all of those parents and mentors out there, I salute you. And for those of you who want to make a difference, you too can become an American Graduate Champion. Be a mentor.
Thanks, JuJu. What a terrific story. It's great to be back on American Graduate Day. Hello, everyone. I'm Susie Garib, and I'm thrilled to be hosting our half hour on dropout prevention and re-engagement. Our next organization, Junior Achievement, has been engaging high school students like JuJu for nearly a century. Every year, they reach an incredible 4.8 million young people, and their goal is to teach financial literacy, work readiness, and entrepreneurship. And we have an inspiring JA story to share with you. Joining us in the studio from Hazlet, Texas, our JA mentor, Brad Chapman, and high school junior and JA mentee, Jacayla Dixon. And thank you both for joining us. Really nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Brad, let me start with you. A lot of people might not know what Junior Achievement is all about. Give us a quick description of what you do.
Sure. Just to add to what you said, the purpose of Junior Achievement is to inspire and prepare young people for future success. And so from kindergarten all the way until senior year, financial literacy and entrepreneurship, things like that are what we focus on.
And you're our entrepreneur, Jacayla. You've been with Junior Achievement for 3 years. You've won a couple of awards, the Innovation Award and the Social Impact Award. This was a national competition. Let's take a quick look at what your product was.
So my company's called Feel the Color, and it's an embroidered tag with Braille, alphabet lettering, and symbols so that the visually impaired can feel the color of their clothes. They'll be able to go to the store and shop for themselves for the first time without having to ask somebody, what color is this? They can be self-reliant, and they have complete independence and control of what they're wearing.
Jacayla, let's get a close-up look at exactly what your product is.
So we have in Braille right here. We have enlarged alphabet lettering for blue, and then we have symbols for those who are visually impaired.
How did you come up with this idea? First of all, I love the name of the company, Feel the Color.
Thank you. So the idea was inspired by my blind aunt Cynthia, who lost her eyesight as an adult due to wanting to get LASIK eye surgery. So seeing her struggle really inspired Feel the Color.
So, I mean, it's a great concept. Brad, what did you think when Jaquela told you about her idea?
Well, immediately it was an easy decision for me to pick up what some I think would call an assignment. For me, it was an absolute blessing. The idea is fantastic.
And then once she told you the idea, how did you take it to the next steps?
I began by asking a lot of questions. I think that was important for both of us, quite frankly, along the way, but to understand what she wanted to accomplish, whether or not this was something that was simply socially enterprising or something that was set to be more of a kind of commercial institution. And so we did that, created some framework, and she's the kind of person that when you say, do some research on something, she brings back 2 books, a white paper, and a lot of literature. So it's been incredibly easy to work alongside her.
So what's your dream here? What do you want to do with Brad's help?
I want to see a world with those with visual impairments can go shopping. So we want our tags, we want designers to buy our tags so they can be placed inside clothing and give those with visual impairments the opportunity to go shopping and experience a new lifestyle.
So right now this is a junior achievement a project, but you want to take it commercial. You want other people to know about it. How are you going to do that?
Yes, ma'am. We hopefully hope to obtain a B Corp, and then we eventually, before the new year, want to launch the product so that those with visual impairments can buy it online and be able to feel the color of their clothes.
So she's got a great idea. How do you financially get this off the ground?
So the idea that we've discussed quite a bit is actually, you know, what is the cost? So it's a great idea, right? But what are the costs associated with the deployment of this idea? And so that assignment recently completed, I would say, is understanding the cost of the tags, the logistics associated with, then again, the launch of those tags into either retailers or online, or how that looks. And then I think once you understand that cost, you begin to better understand how you deploy it into the marketplace. And that's where we are today, along with discussing legal structure and then where the money comes from.
Where the money comes from, and you need some help. You can't do this all by yourself.
Yes,
you're going to be hiring people.
I hope so, if they want to work for me.
So as you look back on this experience, what have you gotten out of knowing Brad and working with JA?
I got to see what it's like to have a real-life entrepreneur help me. So without having a mentor, I would never get to see what it takes to run a business and what are the logistics and everything that is needed.
Well, this is great, and you're just a high school student. I know you're really going to take this in a place that's going to change a lot of lives, and we're really looking forward to it. So good luck.
Thank you.
To both of you. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. While entrepreneurs can create opportunities, there are some youth who feel past mistakes have closed the doors to any second chances for them, leaving their careers at a standstill. Sometimes these lives just need a little momentum. In Dallas, Chef Chad Hauser is changing an old problem with an innovative solution: Cafe Momentum.
I don't know how long, but I knew that I was going to end up in prison. I knew I was going to end up there. My mom got 5 kids, but it was kind of hard for her to like take care of all of us with the money. So me and my brother, what we did, we went out and hit licks and started robbing and stuff. And then we started going to juvenile. My mama had, she had went back to Missouri because she had got evicted. I couldn't go back to Missouri because like I'm dealing with cases and stuff. I can't leave the state of Texas right now. So it done been nights where I done slept at a train station in the rain. I done slept in the snow. It's a cold feeling. You feel like I ain't got nobody, like don't nobody care. I had to get out the neighborhood. That was the first step. When I got on the bus and left the neighborhood, come to Cafe Momentum.
Cafe Momentum is a 12-month paid post-release internship for kids coming out of juvenile detention. In addition to working through 5 stations in the restaurant, we also have a huge emphasis on life skill and social skill training. For us, our #1 priority was to create at least a baseline of stabilization for Imai. That meant finding housing for him. Once we were able to secure housing, it meant continuing to build from there.
My first couple of weeks, it's like I was doing stuff, I was leaving, like he brought me in that outfit so many times just to sit me down and talk with me and tell me like, 'cause at first I didn't believe in myself, but he used to always tell me that he believed in me. I see you got somebody good in you and he going very good places, but you need to get on your stuff. And that's like, man, ain't nobody tell me they believe in me but this man.
The transformation for him really started in the dining room, because on any given night, there's 140 people coming in this restaurant, people that he's never met in his entire life, but people that are telling him, just by sitting here and eating, I believe in you, you can do it, and you're worthy. One of his last shifts in the restaurant, Imai came up to me and said, I just wanted to say thank you. You've really changed my life. And I said, well, I like to think that you're the one that really changed your own life, because all I did was open up a restaurant. You're the one that has to show up every day. You're the one that made the choices to be here. You're the one that made the choices to learn. You're the one that did all this. And he said, yeah, but I don't think you understand. I've lived my entire life planning on going to prison. Every day I knew that at some point I would be in prison. So I made every decision in my life based around going to prison. And then he looked at me and I saw a smile that I've never seen on Imai in my entire life, and he said, I'm never going to jail. Never. And for him, what that meant was that he believed in himself. To say I'm never going to jail means to say his children will not grow up the way that he grew up. And that, to me, is true transformation.
I don't really believe in bad kids. I think that all of our behaviors are created by needs. We have a need, and so the behaviors are trying to get those needs met. Make the connection. We could work through those things and teach them better tactics to get their needs met. My specialty with the Children's Law Center is with the care unit, which is working with youth who are in foster care, but who also have probation cases. And I mentor them to help them through their terms of probation. My inspiration for the work that I do is really my family background, and that I have a lot of family who's been incarcerated and have dealt with the system. And I'm from a community where foster care is pretty dominant in the community. I'm also an artist. I do aerosol art. I'm a poet. I'm a rapper. Honestly, I use any art that I can to connect with the youth, because when you can find common ground with them, then they can find safety in the relationship, in the rapport that you have with them. And once you establish safety, then you can move forward to trying to offer advice or leading them in a different direction.
Leading students in the right direction is also the work of our next group, I Could Be. It's an e-mentoring program which begins in the junior year of high school. More than 19,000 students across the country are anonymously matched with professionals from coast to coast who volunteer as e-mentors. They provide online career advice, guidance, and support. Joining us from Westminster High School outside of Los Angeles is our e-mentee, Marisol Sosa Ortiz. Marisol, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, just to get started, tell us a little bit about I Could Be. How does this organization work?
I Could Be is when a mentor mentees a student, they help you with school, how to get ready for college, life in general.
And what made you decide to join up?
Actually, my teacher, Ms. Braun, told me to join this program. She's like, this is gonna help you get ready for school and for college, and I actually ended up enjoying the program.
And what were you hoping to get out of the program?
Well, I was just planning to learn about college, how to get ready for it, but I ended up getting much more of it.
And your mentor, it was like an anonymous connection. Mm-hmm. You didn't choose this person and this person didn't choose you, right?
Yes.
So what was that like, getting to know your mentor?
Well, at the beginning it was a little weird because you didn't know who he was in person, but once we got something in common, we started talking and we started to get our conversations. Like we would talk and more. And so we ended up having a good experience.
And the mentorship just lasted, you said, from September till about, Christmas time till January, and then it was over. And how did you feel about that?
At the beginning, I was like it's just a program, it's gonna be over. But I was kind of like, sad because it's someone that actually gives you advice about like school, college, life in general. So it's like someone always telling you like how to do good in everything.
So it sounds like you got a very nice connection and you were a perfect match with your mentor. Well, we thought it would be nice if you could meet your mentor. I don't know how you feel about that, but we'd like to introduce you to your mentor. So, Marisol, meet Neil, your mentor.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you.
So this is surprising. You weren't expecting this.
Good surprise, huh?
Yes.
And Neil, you didn't even know her name was Marisol. You knew her as her screen name, MSOLO3, right?
Right. So it's Ms. Ola 3, yes.
So how does it feel that you're now seeing her live in person?
It's fantastic because, like she said, we had so many conversations through a virtual connection, and then to actually be able to see the person and that you were working with is amazing.
And I think it's like doubly rewarding, isn't it? That she felt very connected with you and engaged, and at the same time, so appreciative from everything you gave, and it just wasn't enough time.
Absolutely. I felt the same way. And it's funny because I hear you saying, that you learn different things, but at the same time, I feel like I was learning from you and getting inspiration from someone who wanted to do so good and help people out and do good things for other people. So
I see you two are still looking at each other, trying to put all of this together. I mean, Marisol, how did you feel that you created this really strong bond with Neil, and that you got so much from him? I mean, what was that whole experience like?
Well, I would sometimes I would think to myself, I'm like, how could I have such a great connection with someone I don't know? Like, this person helped me so much. Like, he would tell me do time arrangement, get more involved in school, go to college, how to get ready for other classes. So it was
Did you
really
listen to everything he said? And you're a senior now, so you're applying to colleges now?
Yes.
Okay, all right, that's great. Marisol, how did I Could Be and Neil help you figure out what you could be?
Well, actually, he has to do a lot with my career choice. I told him I'm into nursing. Like, he would always listen to my interests, and he would be like, "Have you heard of this career? Have you heard of this career?" He's like, "There's an RN traveling nurse," and I'm like, "Really?" I'm like, "I didn't know there was such a thing." And then I started doing more information about it, and then I'm like, "This is something I actually want to study for." So he really helped me choose my career.
Tell us your story, Neil. I mean, was she your one and only mentee?
No, I've had several mentees, but she definitely stood out. And I think it was the conversation she had. She's so bright and smart, and I felt, that I was just able to connect because the conversations were so long. And it doesn't, the mentoring, it doesn't take much time, but you see the conversation, you read through it, but it ends up being a nice conversation. And it was.
So why are you still in the program, Neil? What do you get out of this?
I like the opportunity to feel like that hopefully you impact somebody and that you can give something back. I don't know if I mentioned this too, when I was your age, I went through a similar program. And it was good to have different people talk to you and teach you things and lead the way. And I have the mentors I had, I still think back, a long time ago, I still think back and the things they taught me and the decisions they helped me make that made a positive impact. So if I can give that to other people, I think it's just the best thing.
And I Could Be is sponsored by AT&T. How does that support make a difference?
AT&T encourages all of the employees to volunteer as much as we can. I Could Be is one of many of the organizations that we're involved with. So there's been a lot of corporate financial support, but then it's the culture of the company just coming behind us and cheerleading us to get out and help others that really, I think, makes the impact.
Well, this has been just a fabulous story. I'm sure you two are going to keep talking once you step off of this platform. But thank you so much, and good luck to you, Marisol, with college and everything else. Neil, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Mentoring in any way can change a student's life. Why not sign up to be a mentor? From Tucson, our sister station, AZPM, shares with us our next Stories of Champions, a mentor who gives kids a fighting chance.
Hey, boy. What's up, cuz? How you doing? Good, man. What's new? Yeah, that's good.
Chris Valdez is a former Marine and was a professional boxer. He won many of his early fights by knockout. Now he helps at-risk youth on Tucson's south side, working to make a difference in their lives.
Water it up. And you got to get out of there because it's not over. Well, first, I think every kid's at risk. Corazón grande. We get kids from all walks of life. A lot of them grew up like I did and, you know, have some tough situations. And so I'm there for those kids. Body got tip. We're not all perfect, but, you know, that's the beauty of the light shining through the cracks, man. Boom.
Oh. He cares about me. He knows it's bigger than himself. He knows that he has people looking up to him, all these kids that are in this gym right now. They look to Coach for leadership. They look to him for positivity, and he comes in and he gives every day.
I want to be a champion. You're his brother's keeper.
He calls me. He asks me how my homework, how my school's going, make sure I'm getting my run-ins, make sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Coach always asks.
There you go. I'm looking for the bigger challenges. You know, college, getting a job, you know, maybe if you got a family, how you gonna react to hard situations in your life. I don't want them to have any limitations.
We've been celebrating American graduate champions just like Chris Valdez, and I'm happy to report that our tally so far is an amazing 2,653,484. Despite more than 7 million job vacancies, nearly 6 million young people are out of school and out of work, facing an opportunity divide. Year Up is addressing the gap by providing low-income young adults with a one-year intensive training program built on coursework and paid internships. Lauren is standing by with Year Up alum Armani Jeffries. Lauren?
And we are so happy Armani is here to share her story. Armani, due to financial reasons, you had to leave college after one semester. How did Year Up change that?
Year Up had a huge impact on my life. Right after leaving Alfred, I had a friend who was doing the Year Up program. He told me all about his experience. I came and visited him, and I got to not only hear about it, but see the impact that Year Up had on his life, and I immediately was like, I want to be a part of this. And so I applied, I got in, and from day one, Year Up has been a game changer for me.
Explain how throughout the 12-month program, you split your time between the classroom and corporate office.
Yes, so the first 6 months are a learning and development phase where it's split up by 3 modules. And in those modules, we'll learn the basic IT skills that we need to learn to work in a corporate setting. And then we'll go into learning about what it is that we applied for. So in my case, I applied for financial operations and anti-money laundering. And so we got into the basics of financial operations, you know, stocks and bonds. And then we got into learning about what money laundering was and then the steps to preventing that.
You now have a fantastic full-time job. Tell us more about it.
Yeah, so in the second phase of Year Up, it's, of course, the corporate internship, and I interned at JP Morgan. And it was a complete success for me from the day that I started there, seeing that everybody in a corporate setting was so supportive and was so engaged and involved with this program and was engaged in my learning and my success there. So that actually contributed to my now 2 years still at JP.
And now you're finding a way to put your energy back into the program. Tell us how.
I am now the program manager for the Year Up and JP Morgan partnership. So I manage the interns that come in each cohort. And so I get to work closely with them and get to tell them about my experience and then make sure that they don't make the mistakes that I made and make sure that they're successful in the end, just like I was.
Well, it truly is an extremely inspiring story and one we're so happy that you stopped by to tell us all about. Thank you. And we want to remind all of you at home to tell us what you think about our great day. #AmGrad. And now, as you were.
We drank too much. I held your hair back when you were throwing up. Then you looked over your shoulder, and then I was stone cold sober.
Next up, Camp Felix, a sleepaway summer camp in Putnam Valley, New York, created solely for kids in the foster care system. It's the brainchild of a pioneering rapper and an Emmy Award-winning casting director, both of whom had been foster kids themselves.
Camp Felix campers are from the New York City foster care system. Oftentimes, with all of that instability in their lives, Camp Felix can be the one sort of consistent element in their lives, and they know that no matter what's going on during the year, Camp Felix is here for them every summer.
I found out that I was adopted when I was 35 years old, which was a shocking revelation. I felt alone. I felt different. I realized, even though that fortunately I got adopted, that I was once one of those kids. And then I said, if everything that was given to me allowed me to become the person that I am today, what if we did that for all of the kids who are in so-called unfortunate situations? We decided 10 years ago to do a place called Camp Felix.
This is the greatest creation that I have ever been involved with.
There was this thing waiting to be created that needed us to found it.
All right, back to the wall. You did good.
I think some of the major challenges that our children face is having a lot of adults in their life that they feel that they couldn't depend on. At Camp Felix, all of that is turned inside out. All of a sudden, you have counselors whose sole purpose is to provide them with the best experience possible.
It was the first place where I can actually feel myself opening up to people and letting people in, because I felt like I was just abruptly put into the foster care system.
Let's go.
It just sparked something in me, and I was like, this is my family, like this is my home.
Yes, it's destiny.
And no matter how many other different foster homes I might end up in, like this is always gonna be home, and I'm always gonna come to camp. And now as a counselor, like that's the experience I want them to have.
Best thing about camp was making new connections with people who are familiar to you. I mean, sure, I got some friends at home, but I wouldn't really call them friends. I mean, you don't really live with them, or eat with them, or shower with them.
Last one. Yeah. This is to show you that it doesn't take strength, but willpower to climb up a wall.
Heard you. I never left the city before, and it felt different. I was a little scared. I was not open. Like I wouldn't speak to anybody. And then that's when I met Tiffany, and now I don't want to leave.
In their regular lives outside of camp, they might be moved to a home the next day and they don't even know. They might be uprooted again. And here they know that they're safe and they're stable, and at the end of the day, they're still gonna all go to bed together. They're still gonna wake up in the morning and eat breakfast. And I think that's just such a special thing that every kid deserves.
It's all about making sure that you believe in yourself.
We are the Camp of Fire, Camp of Band of Brothers, you see. We are the Camp of Fire, Camp of Band of Brothers, you see.
If you constantly have someone that keeps telling you, but I believe in you, I believe in you, eventually you're gonna turn around and say, you know what? I do believe in myself.
Our kids are at a disadvantage because they may attend 3 or 4 different schools throughout the school year. Their education is really fragmented, and the high school graduation rates are extremely low. We like to think that at Camp Felix, we kind of plant a seed that could be the spark that kind of changes the direction that some of these kids are going.
I tell the kids, man, I'm DMC in the place to be. I go to St. John's University. And since kindergarten, not kindergarten, since kindergarten, I acquired the knowledge. And after 12th grade, I went straight to college. So now I got the kids. He's like, oh, so DMC, you was a foster kid? And you went to college? So now they see that it's possible. So one of the things that this camp does is it gives them a touchable, usable hope.
Before I was adopted, I couldn't see into my future. And then I come here and I hear like my co-counselors talking about college and like their dreams and aspirations, and it kind of just, it was motivating for me. Like, they're doing it, so can I.
You know, kids are funny. You just have to open the door, crack the window a little bit, and they'll take it from there. But they have to know it exists. And that's the importance of a mentor.
One of the most powerful things that could change the life of young people in unfortunate situations, that could even change the world, is becoming a mentor. Give that kid your phone number and say, if you ever need to talk to anybody, you can call me no matter what time of the day it is. And they'll look at you and go, really? That's the power of mentoring. Telling the kid, I'm here for you.